Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to my channel. And I can already hear the outrage. You haven't even seen the movie yet. Wait until you've seen it. It's exhausting having to teach this very basic lesson to people over and over again. So listen closely. If I'm somehow not allowed to be critical of the film right now, then you're not allowed to be excited about it. Now, of course, neither of those things are true, because just as you're free to blindly support anything that seems to align with your social agenda, I'm free to exercise critical thinking and discernment and piece together the clues to see that Captain Marvel is shaping up to be a poor excuse for a superhero film. So despite the hissy fits that will no doubt still be raged by Brie Larson supporters, I stand by the title of this video. Alita Battle Angel is already a far superior film to Captain Marvel. And I'll give you 3 reasons. First, Alita Battle Angel situates itself inside the themes of a pre-established mythos. Now, this is intertextuality. I've spoken about it before in videos. But any good hero's journey does this. It taps into an older structure. But tapping into a canon literary or religious arc, that gives the story a head start. A head start for the audience, a fast-track roadmap to understanding the world and investing in the characters. Alita, for example, she's called an angel because she comes from above. From the floating city of Zalem, from Mars, whatever. She comes from above, and she comes from before the Great War, called the Fall, since it caused most of the cities to fall from the sky. So she comes to fight against Nova, the ruler of this world and its last floating city. The structure here is biblical. An angelic being from before the fall comes to Earth to live as one of us and save us from the god of this world. And that's the title the Bible gives to Lucifer or Satan. Alita even means winged, our chosen one, and the word Nova means shining star, just as Lucifer means the bearer of light. This pre-existing structure, then, it helps us to make sense of the visuals in the film as well. For example, everyone seems to be losing their mind about Alita's large eyes. Will we ever be able to watch a movie with a character that has such large eyes? As if they've never seen a Disney princess film. But the eyes are significant. Alita has large eyes to dignify her innocence, wonder, and willingness to see the good in people. In contrast, Nova wears glasses that make his eyes look small. He sees through the eyes of others in the movie at times, but only to enforce his own agenda. So the one who claims to see everything has perceptions that are limited and myopic. And that's the idea of sin in the Bible, right? Satan's glorious perceptions as Lucifer were limited once he began to look only at himself. So what about Captain Marvel? How do you know this movie won't have a grounding in ancient story structures too, Professor? You haven't even seen it, right? Well, the answer to that question is simply that the creators of this film, from Kevin Feige to Brie Larson, have been crystal clear about the movie's agenda. It is continuing the gender deconstruction and feminism that Kelly Sue DeConnick infused into her forced remake of Carol Danvers in the comics. At the heart of the feminist and gender deconstruction agenda is a flat rejection of the hero's journey. It's a formula of the patriarchy, and it must be subverted at all costs. This is why films made from the feminist platform like Ghostbusters 2016 or The Last Jedi fall flat and fail to resonate with audiences in any long-term manner. Captain Marvel will be no different. The second element that makes Alita Battle Angel such a resounding success as a story is Alita's embodiment of the heroine. For an explanation of the heroine archetype, click the link in the top right-hand corner to my previous video. In one respect, Alita's an ancient warrior. On the other, she's a teenage girl, with a father and a love interest, and having a real relatable relationship with both. At its heart, Alita Battle Angel is a coming-of-age story then. A young girl's journey of self-discovery. As a teenage girl with amnesia, she must learn of the world and her place in it from scratch. And as a teenage girl, she must learn to deal with a plethora of new and overwhelming emotions. She rebels against her father at times to discover and assert her identity, but she learns she needs his wisdom, emotional stability, and unconditional love nonetheless. She falls into puppy love with Hugo, and experiences that feeling mature into real love as she learns and accepts the truth of who he is, just as she's learning and accepting the truth of who she is. At the heart of Alita Battle Angel, despite the science fiction and cyberpunk trappings, is a universal story. Audiences everywhere can relate, and that is one reason why, despite the professional critics' nitpicks, the movie is connecting with theater audiences. Well, what about Captain Marvel? How do you know she won't have a father figure or love interest? because patriarchy is the enemy. Right? Again, look at the agenda and motives this film is coming from. Women don't need men. This is why the writers have changed Carol Danvers' origin from receiving Mar-Vell's power to simply receiving her own. This is why Carol Danvers shows up on Earth as the most powerful being Nick Fury, the godfather of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, will ever know. This is why he appears to follow her around like a bumbling sidekick in the trailers. We already know Danvers' journey will feature her breaking the chains of patriarchy. I mean, the Kree agenda she's been taken and repurposed for against her will. And don't you dare suggest that such a powerful, independent woman is going to fall in love with some man. The only people who are going to think they relate to this movie are those who have already swallowed the feminist narrative that all women are victims. The third point about the strength of Alita Battle Angel's story is connected to the last one. Alita must master her abilities, and she is capable of making mistakes. She has to learn to trust her father. She has to learn to tone down the intensity of her emotions for Hugo. Even though her amazing fighting skills are pre-programmed from the previous life's training, she discovers by trial and error what she should and shouldn't do with them in this new life. Now, Captain Marvel, as the figurehead of a social agenda, can have no real faults. The appropriate term here is Mary Sue. Like Rey's superb piloting and naturally superior Jedi skills that all previously established characters who had to fight to earn their skills in our respect, Carol Danvers simply shows up on Earth with more power than Fury or S.H.I.E.L.D. can conceive of. Something happened to make her that way, but that's tied to the victim narrative. And something will happen, no doubt, to trigger her supernova powers, as seen in the trailer, when she flies through space, blowing up ships with her hands. But that power will ultimately come naturally from within her, and will not have to be gained from the tutelage of another, especially a man, through trial and error. And if she makes any real mistakes at all, it will be due to the oppressive lies she's been fed. The Kree war that she decides she will not fight but will end. Because she goes higher, further, faster. She's the new leader of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She's more powerful out of the gate than any of the heroes we've spent years growing with and investing in. When the film releases, audiences will see various details that will make up her Mary Sue-ness. Some will no doubt be a surprise, but unless Kevin Feige, the film's writers and director, and Brie Larson herself have flat out lied to us, then we can make solid inferences about the story quality of this movie. Alita Battle Angel, however, has already proved itself. No matter how much feminist critics want to lambaste it for daring to show such an idealized feminine form, or for showing a heroine who relies on both women and men in her life, as any three-dimensional character should, the movie finds easy traction with audiences, and it's fast becoming a fan favorite. The film achieves this despite lacking the strong promotional arm of Disney and the promotional strong arming of SJW Hollywood. And for Captain Marvel, the desperation of those promotions speaks volumes. From the livid trolls in the comments of videos such as this one, to the critics and news media already laying out the palm leaves for the movie's arrival, the build-up resembles that of Ghostbusters 2016, which was all for naught in terms of audience reaction and revenue. And the aftermath of Captain Marvel will no doubt resemble that of The Last Jedi, with all the storytellers and propagandists simply blaming the fans. How dare they not accept the new kind of stories we want to prescribe? How dare they not alter the human psyche and psychological structures to suit our new social agenda? Because that's not how mythology works. That's not how storytelling works. And the sooner Hollywood realizes that, the sooner it will save itself a lot of money in promotional force-feeding and lost revenue. So that's all for this video. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Links to my Indiegogo and Patreon are in the description below. And until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the superhero stories you love. Thanks for watching.